Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, guys? Real Fans FC. Guys, you probably can check it out. You're probably thinking, did Will get light? Did Will get come back from Jesus? I don't know what happened, guys, but we are back. We are back with y'all. We apologize for last week. We've been busy. Julian, how have you been? You're still alive. You're still here. Donald Trump won. America's on fire right now. What are we doing? What's going on?
I realized. There we go. That's better.
There we go. I like that. I like that.
there we go.
It took me a minute to process that. Yeah.
Well, that was a little shout out to our other podcast. If you guys are interested in anything American sports, primarily the NFL and American football, please check out Real Fans Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. But anyways, let's get right into it. It is the UEFA Champions League match day for reactions. And man, I'll tell you what, this was an absolute awesome week. For Champions League. Look, there's a little bit of that like old crowd where they're like, oh, we need to go back to group stage and all this stuff. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. You're just being defiant for the sake of being defiant. You are delusional if you do not think this format is 10 times better than the group stage format. Because I guarantee you right now, it'd be like a pot A team versus a pot D team and a bunch of games no one cares about. We already know who's going to win. And then the first 4 games are done, and then you're going into the second legs, and then it's already over, and no one really cares. This makes, I mean, let me just name out the game. Obviously, we're going to go through it, but you had like the PSG versus Atletico, Inter versus Arsenal, Brugge versus Aston Villa, Milan versus Real Madrid. But the first game I'm going to talk about, and we got to talk about it, this is probably the biggest news that is going on in the footballing world, and that is AC Milan absolutely beating the brakes off of Real Madrid. Real Madrid, I will say, as a Real Madrid hater, it has been a good 10 days. Got Barcelona waxing that ass. Vinny rightfully doesn't win the Ballon d'Or. Football is saved. And and then my other team, AC Milan, goes in there and actually puts in work after a surprising poor performance against Monza in Serie A, comes in and looks really good against Real Madrid, put together a really good game plan going forward with Fonseca, which Fonseca has been somebody I haven't been super high on in the beginning of the season. And what I've seen from Milan, obviously Milan being in 7th place right now in Serie A. And it's been kind of an up and down start so far where moments you're like, man, it looks good. And then others, it's like, what is going on? He kind of came into this with a very interesting game plan, I will say. So he benched Loftus-Cheek, put in Yunus Musa on the wing to kind of play this wing back area where he was playing forward, and then also had him when needed to be in a back line of a 5 formation. And then kind of had Christian Pulisic in that hole, but also kind of drifted out wide to the right. It was a really interesting and really honestly pretty damn good game plan set by Fonseca, and shout out to Yunus Musa for taking the chance and actually performing well with it, because I thought he had a really solid game. He's had a really shaky start since being a part of Milan. Obviously, everybody and the American fans want to talk about Pulisic and his great start, but Yunus Musa looks like he's finally starting to develop and become well. There's still some things I think he can clean up on. He's really good with the ball at his feet, but sometimes the decision making at that last second, he tends to struggle. But he did really well this game. Obviously, Fonseca's whole shtick this entire beginning of the season is he wants everybody playing 100%. He wants everybody going back and defending when needed and playing well. Obviously, the controversial takes of Rafa Leao being benched and all this stuff. It looks like it might have worked. Everybody actually played from back to front, playing super high press, making sure getting on top of Madrid, not letting him stop, playing the counter ball, not getting too deep, but also controlling possession when needed. And I thought they played really, really good. I thought the front 3 looked great with Morata, Leao, and Pulisic. Mike Mayon, take a bow, sir. You played out of your mind today. He had a great game, probably the player of the match. Actually, he was the player of the match. He played amazing. Yeah. Now, as for Real Madrid, man, the struggles continue with Real Madrid. This formation and this system, there's too many egos on this team.
Yeah.
And not enough role players. And there's just so many things that Real Madrid, it's just not clicking right now. they missed so many not so many, because the few chances that they did create, they looked bad. Bellingham had a rough game. He just skied it over the goalpost multiple times. Mbappe just doesn't look comfortable playing that striker role. There's rumors coming out that he says he wants to go back to playing on the left-hand side where he's used to, which anybody who watches football and has watched Mbappe play with France and with PSG, that everybody knows he is best on the left, making those runs and utilizing his speed, because him at top, he's not able to use the best character traits that he has, physical traits that he has, which is his speed and his athleticism, because now he's stuck having to play up front. And I don't know what the best thing to do about this, because he had a couple chances on goal and none of them looked that great. And all in all, it just felt like the attack just couldn't create anything. They struggled in transition, the few chances that they were able to make. Yeah. And then when it got into the box, it seemed like no one knew what to do almost. Once the ball got in there, I felt lost. And like I said, there was a couple like good stops, Mike Mayong, but then again, it just looks so flat. They don't feel like they're playing fluid. It feels like they're kind of forcing the ball into certain situations. But yeah, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, real quick, I think you summed it up pretty well, Julian. Listen, dude, not a Real Madrid fan at all. So watching the Barcelona beat down, I'm talking about whipping that ass, dude. Lamine Yamal, 17 years old, throwing it back. Little Messi shout out on that one, dude. Love that. It was great. Yeah, and also obviously Vinny. I mean, that's a hot take. That's a video for another day. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Check it out. Watch Julian and me talk a little bit about if Vinny should have won the Ballon d'Or. I agree with you though, Julian. He shouldn't have. I don't think he deserved it. I think, listen, it was a toss up, regardless how, with the form he was in and whatnot. I just think the national team form overweighed that. But no, yeah, in regards to this game, though, I think AC Milan, it really looked like from the start, dude, you got to give your shouts as much as, we're CONCACAF guys and we can be haters on the U.S. men's national team, this, and that. Dude, shout out our CONCACAF boys. Like, you did well. I mean, I like the shout with Yunus Musa. You were given Julian in as well for Christian Pulisic. Played well. Pulisic got the opening assist. I mean, great corner pass. I mean, that cross was you can't make a corner pass any better than that. I think it was great. Good corner. Well to beat. I mean, just great header. Great header by Thiaw, if I'm not wrong, if I'm saying that right. But yeah, dude, all in all, good game from AC Milan. I think they had a good game plan. I think, just really watching them break down and really just not just breaking down Real Madrid, but not allowing Mbappe and Vinicius to really get free. I'll say it. Emerson Royale, when he was at Tottenham, I was critical on this guy. I thought he was a bust. This game against Real Madrid, I think Emerson Royale looked phenomenal. I think he really did. Obviously, other than letting up the penalty against Vinicius, other than that, he was locking that right side down. I think Theo Hernandez as well on the left-hand side was doing well. I think the fullbacks really did their job. I think that's where it really killed Real Madrid. There almost seems to be no pace and to be no actual ability to create off the sides or even in the middle. Valverde, I mean, him and Jude Bellingham, they don't even look like they play on the same team sometimes. These guys have looked so lost and so mentally away from each other. But all in all, a good win from AC Milan. I don't want to take away from them, and hopefully they can keep it going in the UCL.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, as a Milan fan, I am pumped to see Rafael actually stepping into those roles people want him to. I mean, obviously the biggest question is having him stay consistent, because when he's on, he's on. He looks like one of the best wingers in the world. So I'm hoping maybe Fonseca is able to unlock something with this team and get them fighting and not be so passive. So yeah, we'll see going forward. But let's move on to the next game. How about Will? You pick one. Give me a game. We'll go with it.
Let's look at our list. Give me. We got Liverpool on there, right? Liverpool, Bayern,
Bayer, Leverkusen.
Bayer, yeah, my bad.
Xavi Alonso, homecoming back to Anfield. Yeah, what is your thoughts on this game? I'll give you what I thought.
Lucho Diaz masterclass, man. Those are my thoughts. I think this guy, dude, he's incredible. I mean, I don't have to say it. I mean, he's showing why Liverpool bought him from Porto for the amount of money that they did. Listen, this dude, it just seems like since he's been at his time at Liverpool, I feel like he's just getting better and better and better. It's just showing he's progressing. And even at the age he's at, not saying that Lucho is this older guy and he's not in his final days, but he is hitting his prime. I want to say, if I'm not wrong, he's 27 years old. He's already been at Liverpool for 3 seasons now. This is his 3rd season. So it's just showing that Lucho, I mean, he really can do it all.
Oh, I lost Will for a second there. All right, you're back.
Oh, shit.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, Mohamed to the CBs, man, and Konate. Listen, these guys going into the season are.
Oh, we keep on losing Will. While his internet bounces back for a second. Yeah, I'm just going on that Liverpool, man. Liverpool looks incredible. Like, okay, Will's back. Let me finish my thought and I'll go back to you. Oh, yeah. So Liverpool, man, they look incredible. They honestly, right now, they are arguably the best team in the world. I think the only team that can compete with them right now is Barcelona with a certain rhythm that they are on. And man, this Liverpool team is so deep, man. They're so deep. I feel like they have like somebody who can replace them at such a high quality. It doesn't matter who's on there, and the way that they're playing is just so well. I mean, they're at the top of the table for a reason on both the Prem and for the UCL. This Liverpool team just seems so unstoppable. They seem so dangerous. I'm really curious to see what they're going to look like going forward as the season progresses. But man, they are just playing so well. Now, as for Leverkusen, man, it looks like they've come back down to reality from what we saw last year. Obviously, they had the invincible season, except for losing to Atalanta in that Europa League final, which to this day still bothers me. It's like, come on, that's the last one. You got to get it. Yeah. But ever since then, man, not that they've been bad, obviously. They're still at the top of the Bundesliga, but they don't have that same oomph that they had before, and maybe they can recapture that. But it could have just been a flash in the pan. Who knows? I still think this is a team with a ton of quality. I mean, Florian Wirtz, this team has so much quality on the field. They should be able to compete with the best. I think this game has more to do with how good Liverpool is, more so than Bayern Leverkusen. But at the end of the day, I do think this team isn't exactly the same. And man, I'll tell you what, too, the Bundesliga kind of has taken some hits this UCL tournament. I mean, they've been getting beat pretty bad.
Red Bull Leipzig. They haven't
Red
even
Bull
won
Leipzig losing. Dortmund getting stomped by Real Madrid. Bayern Munich getting stomped by Barcelona. Now Leverkusen getting hit by Liverpool. Not a great UCL so far for the Bundesliga teams, but
definitely not.
I think Leverkusen is good enough, obviously to advance. I don't see them not making it. They're definitely going to go forward. I think it's more so that Liverpool is just an insane level right now, like quite honestly. Yeah. But yeah, finish what you were saying before.
Agree, dude. No, I completely agree with everything you said, Julian. I think Liverpool, it's just, I think they're showing their levels, like you said. And listen, dude, Liverpool, they're not that type of team that they're just going to score a goal. They don't have that kind of, how can I say it, that Mexico in them. They don't just score a goal and then it's like, cool, now park the bus. Everybody tell Virgil van Dijk to get back. Tell Konate, everybody turn into Ismail Konate. I don't think they're that type of team. I think they're that type of team when they smell blood in the water, they pounce and they go for it. And like you said, I mean, whether it's Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, Lucho Diaz, I mean, dude, Darwin Nunez, listen, I know we clown on the guy a lot, but when you have Darwin Nunez on your bench, Diego Jota, I mean, dude, like it speaks to the levels of this team, like you just said, Julian. So I think honestly, it just kind of looked like it, to be real with you. This was kind of like, it's kind of reminded me of a homecoming competition. You kind of got that crazy popular girl, that cheerleader. I'm talking about all the boys know her. She's the sexy thing on the block. Like, this is the girl right here. And you kind of got that kind of, that cross-country runner girl that, people know her.
Had a glow up. She had, she
Yeah.
had a glow up.
She had a glow up. Like, she's kind of getting there. Like, some guys find her attractive, like Bayern Leverkusen. Like, you know what? She's not the word. She's not bad. She's pretty. She's, but that's how Leverkusen is. Like, they're just kind of like that. Like you said, I think they're starting to hit back to reality from last season. So I think, props to Liverpool. But yeah, let's get into our next game. Julian, who are we thinking? You want to go?
All right, man. This one, it's got to be the most disappointing
City.
And no, it's not that one. It's PSG versus Atletico Madrid.
Oh, my.
And man, I'll start off with Atleti since they won the game. Atleti had no business winning this game. No business. No. This just is, oh my God. I mean, they gave up a terrible mistake to give up the one goal in the beginning to PSG. But then, man, like, they created no chances. And quite honestly, the first goal they got was just kind of a pinball that kind of fell in the right spot, and it worked for them. But this Atleti team, it continues. They look bad. They just look bad. They don't look good defensively. They look horrible offensively. I mean, I understand the identity of this team, but quite honestly, you don't need a Julian Alvarez on this team. This team's already playing too passive and defensive as it is. And it seems like the only guy who really wants to progress the ball forward is Griezmann. And no one else really has that football, that quality to really go forward and go. I mean, I get that this is who Atleti are, and they're never going to be that team that drops 5 on you. But you also got to at least put away some chance. You cannot be having 27% possession against PSG. Come on. At the end of the day, you are Atletico Madrid. You have talent on this team. You put a lot of money on here. And defensively, quite honestly, you're still a joke. The only reason why PSG couldn't score is because PSG has their own issues of themselves, which I'm going to get into in a second here. But if they play against a higher quality of opposition, which is like what we saw when they played against Benfica, for example, like, they're going to get torched. And as for PSG, another team, defensive mistakes. They gave up the first ball for the first goal for Atletico Madrid. And then in the second one, it just seemed like they didn't press Griezmann. It looks like they just left a ton of space open. They didn't do anything. And that was a weird sound. But yeah, it's just like it's kind of like, remember like that Spain team going into the 2022 World Cup where they just dominated possession but did nothing with it? That's what this PSG team was like. It's like, which funny enough, it's the same coach.
Where it is.
You don't do anything, and then you had 22 shots, but not one of them felt dangerous at all. Oh. Ever since Mbappe left, it just doesn't seem like they have that clinical finisher. Like Dembele, he's never going to be that guy. And quite honestly, I'm not a big Dembele fan. I think he's a tad overrated. I just feel like all he does is low crosses into the box. He has great speed and foot ability, but he's not a lethal guy. He's not always accurate, quite honestly. Yeah. And it's just been kind of a rotating circus of who's going to be that striker that steps up. And even on the left side, when you look at, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Kolo Muani. He has talent. I think he's going to be a good player, but I don't think he's necessarily there yet. And this PSG team, they need that pure goal scoring threat that now that they're lacking since Mbappe's left. It just seems like no one wants to step up and be that clinical finisher, and they need that. I mean, right now, it's been a pretty poor showing in Europe. I mean, obviously in Ligue 1, they've been playing well, but I really think they could potentially be on the ropes at Ligue 1. Who knows what's going to happen going forward in the season for them. But in terms of Champions League, there's no way you can have that much possession, put that many shots on goal, and only score one time against a team like Atleti, who has been immensely poor defensively and can't even score to save their life or create chances themselves. Yeah. And I know a lot of Atleti fans that are like kind of wishing they lost that game because they need a shakeup so bad. because it just seems like they're doing the same thing for the past 3 years and nothing's working. And I'll tell you what, I feel like Alvaro Morata hit a lot of things last year that was going on with that Atleti team that obviously Alvarez can't bring, because Morata, he's kind of a poacher and he gets on his little streaks. And when you have him and Griezmann able to combine, it can kind of hide some of those things. But now that he's gone and you just have Correa and Alvarez, I mean, these aren't. I know there's a lot of faults with Morata. He was always inconsistent, but when he was going, he was putting it in. And I don't know. These are both two teams I think that are just really struggling. It should have been a good game on paper, but honestly, watching it, it was kind of not a snooze fest because PSG had it forever, but it was just like it was just poor. It's like you expect more out of these teams for sure. But yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, dude. I agree with you, man. Listen, I think both of these teams have already fallen expectations for the normal UCL format. I think a lot of the, people had, maybe not PSG, but in regards to Atletico Madrid, like you said, these summer signings, Conor Gallagher, I mean, the Swedish guy, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name for Atletico. You got to help me, Julian.
Swedish guy. Dude, I know what you're talking about.
No, Sorloth, the Norwegian Sorloth. Dude, like
same place.
I'm just kidding. Same Scandinavian.
Yes.
On the team, Julian Alvarez.
Again. All right, you're back. Repeat.
You would think, boom, full on out. Like you said, this was I can't say poor football match because myself, if I'm on the field, I'm a scrub. I'm getting my ass wiped by every single one of these guys. But for Champions League standards, for two of these teams, for juggernaut UEFA Champions League teams, you expect way more. Now, granted, neither one of them have won the Champions League. So kind of hits with that. But you expect both of these teams to be able to bring a little bit more. Shout out to Atletico Madrid, though. They picked up the 3 points. Nahuel Molina
they got it done.
does it again. They got it done, dude. Pretty or not, nice. I don't think Cholo Simeone gives a shit. I think Cholo was going nuts when he scored that goal. So listen, dude, you got to give them their praise. I give them the praise. So we'll see. We'll see what they do from there.
All right, man. Let's move to, let's see here. I know you want to talk about it. Let's do Sporting versus Man City. So you kick it off first.
Dude, listen, just honestly, I'll keep it brief and quick. I'll hit it to you, Julian, again. But, dude, I just think City is they're getting to a place, and every great team has this, every dynasty. Dude, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, these guys didn't just go off and kick everybody's ass and walk back home and say, yeah, I felt good today. They did that a lot of times. They did. I'm not saying they didn't do that, but there were moments. These boys, they had the bad beat old Detroit Pistons walk in town and whoop some ass. That's kind of what happened here, man. They had the badass Sporting Club de Portugal, and they went into Lisbon, and they got their ass wiped. It's simple as that. I don't think City could have done anything differently. You're going to have to help me a little bit, Julian. I don't know who they started at that center back role. There was that light-skinned kid. I know he's the future for City. I know he's big. I don't know if John Stones was off on his honeymoon. I don't know what the hell was going on with the rest of their CBs. I don't know if Vardio just said, fuck it, I'm not going to play center back this game. But, dog, that was just piss poor. I don't know what that back performance was. Listen, as much as we can criticize Haaland, as much as we can criticize Foden and AK Gundogan and these guys up top, listen, at the end of the day, they were connecting. They weren't connecting to the extreme. They also have a game on the road. So you're not expecting a blowout win. This is also Sporting. They're coached, their manager. I mean, obviously, Amrone. I'm probably butchering the shit out of his name. Dog's going to be great. So, listen, dude, at the end of the day, you still got to pick up a result. I understand it's at Sporting. You're better than them. You have the paper. But, man, some criminal defendant. I'm talking about Julian, I had my phone in my hand. I'm ready to call the cops. I was this close from calling. You are kidding me. That is some criminal.
Call 911.
Dude, I'm going to call Manchester Police Department. That was criminal. But listen, they got time to fix it. City's obviously in a good spot. They still have the greatest player in the world right now, Erling Haaland. We'll see what they do from
hot
here.
take.
So, hey, obviously Messi was that guy, but somebody has to step in.
Yeah, I mean, dude, City lost 3 straight now. I tell you what, man. I mean, you're starting to realize how important KDB, Rodri are to this team because it felt like they lacked a little creativity without those two guys. For sure. I mean, you're talking about probably two of the most, obviously the reigning Ballon d'Or winner now, KDB, one of the greatest central attacking midfielders of his generation. Some say the best in the world at his prime, and probably the last couple of years. Obviously, this year and the past couple, he's been injured a lot. But this is a team that lives and breathes through these guys. And when you get rid of probably two of the best midfield duo in the world, it hurts, man. It hurts, especially with the way that Pep likes to play his teams. And then also, too, like you said, I mean, you're missing John Stones and Ruben Diaz. And it showed how important those guys are. Granted, 2 of these came from penalties, but nonetheless, it looked like Sporting came out. They understood that these are guys who don't get a lot of playing time, that they're down 4 of their starters. Let's get after it, because Sporting, they did not play scared. They played fast. They played up tempo. They went after them, and they played incredible one-touch football.
I did.
To then eventually score. And then obviously, I mean, you got to shout out to the guy. I'm going to butcher his name. I don't know how you say his name. Giro Kiris, or I forgot where I think he's from Norway. No, he's from Sweden. He's
Sweden.
Jaquez. Yeah. Yes, he's from Swedish. I mean, he's from Swedish. He's from Sweden. Dude has 23 goals on the season, 16 out of 10 games in Portuguese league, but then 23 in all comps. Insane. Sporting in general has just dominated the Portuguese league. They are undefeated right now. They are playing so well. This is an incredible good team. Now, the question is, can they make a run? Because a little bit of a dark horse run. Because, you know, as of recently, I mean, for a long time, when was the last time we've truly seen a team that's not in the top 5 leagues really make a run? We always think that, man, they're playing well in the group stage, so on and so forth. And then when it gets to knockout rounds, it's like they don't really show up. They kind of disappear. Right. A part of me wants to say that this Sporting team might be different, but I don't know, man. It's tough because, well, obviously they did an amazing job against City. This still is a City team that is kind of down bad right now, missing, like I said, 4 of their players. Granted, it's still a team that still has Savinho, Erling Haaland, and Bernardo Silva, and Phil Foden, obviously. But defensively, they clearly have been struggling these past couple weeks. I'm hoping that Sporting can take advantage of this and keep on that rhythm of like, wow, dude, we just beat City. This is a team who won the quadruple just 2 years ago. And they can go forward, because I like the Sporting team. I like the way they play. I'm hoping they continue going forward. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think this Sporting team could make a dark horse run for a team that's not in the top 5 league? Like I said, we haven't seen that forever. Do you think they can actually break that streak? And I'm not even saying win the whole damn thing, but maybe they
make the semis.
Maybe they make it to a semi or something like that, or at least a good quarterfinal run. You know what I mean? Like, especially with this new format, like, because you're gonna have the playoffs and then 16s. But I would like to see them do, because I would like to see a little bit of a shakeup.
Yeah, I agree with you, Julian. I think you kind of talked about it before the podcast. I think it gives these types of teams, Sporting, Brest. I will talk about them later. That's another podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more about Brest. By the way, love that team out in France. But dude, no, I agree. Listen, exactly. Like, the thing is, you know, Sporting has shown that this new format, if you were able to get a couple games, you know, especially against your pot 1 teams, maybe even your pot 2 teams as well, they're heavy set, dude, you were able to potentially knock in that top 8, to knock it in there and maybe take one of those spots away from one of those pot 1 teams. Because realistically, you had 8 pot 1 teams that, you know, pretty easily you would imagine maybe a pot 2 here or there. Granted, I don't think Sporting, if I'm not wrong, I don't think they're a pot 1 or a pot 2 team, whenever the draw was previous to it. But dude, I think they've got enough. I mean, obviously, it's going to suck losing their coach. That's a massive blow. I mean, you can just tell not only to that club, not only to the
Yeah, I think
players.
he's leaving next week. I think.
Yeah, and not just
United.
to the players.
Amiron, I think it's called. Yeah,
Happen,
it sucks
but
to
well,
it sucks to see him go. I mean, you hate seeing stuff midseason, and I think that's what kills a lot of these teams, honestly, and a lot of these runs. And
yeah,
that was the one thing to kind of go back to Leverkusen was I was excited to see that they're running it back, that everybody stayed. They even added a couple pieces here and there, and they ran it back because easily that team could have got broken up. Frimpong could have got sold. Florian Wirtz could have got sold off. Xabi could have took the Liverpool job. But I was really cool to see, all right, they're going to stick through it. Let's see what they can do. Because there's nothing that, I hate it when you see that. You see this team, they have a great season, like the Girona team, for example. Like this Girona team is nothing like what they were last year. And then we're seeing it now. They're probably going to get eliminated. They've looked really poor, not just in Champions League, but they've looked poor in La Liga as well. So it sucks to see Sporting lose someone like Amiron, who has really elevated this club into a level where they can now beat Man City. And I bet you if you're a Man United fan right now, you're like, holy shit, like they can actually beat City now because they got a coach who's beat them. But yeah. Let's move over to the next game. I got Lille versus Juventus. What'd you think, man?
Oh man, good game, dude. I think it was a good competitive fixture. I think, honestly, Julian, I know we'll dive deep into it, dude. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I think Jonathan David is arguably, he's not the best 9, he's not the best striker, he's not the best forward. He is the best player, and I say this with Coco Karaski as a Panamanian. I personally believe who did win the CONCACAF Best Player of the Year. Another podcast, another video. Y'all subscribe, check it out. Tune in if you love Coco, if you love Panama. I do as well. Shout out to my boy.
No,
listen, dude, Jonathan David. Hey, everybody subscribe. But dude, listen, Jonathan David. Just dude, you have to say it. He's so good, man. You can tell he loves what he does. He loves what he does, and he plays at his best, man. This is a guy you can see in within him. He's not afraid to driving him. So they're still going to be fine. I think they will still advance. I think Lille's done enough work with these top-heavy teams. If I haven't looked at their schedule yet, I didn't check it out, but the remainder of it, if I'm not wrong, are more pot 3 and 4 teams. They already went on the road and beat Atletico Madrid. They beat the other foe from Madrid within Real Madrid. Now
they got
tie.
Bologna next. They got Sturm Graz, and then they ended off with Oh, no, the last 2 are then Liverpool and then Feyenoord.
Okay, so they're winning 2 out of those 4. And
I tell you what, man, they had God. I think we talked about this after the pot draw reaction, but man, this Lille schedule is insane, and the fact that they're doing what they're doing with the schedule that they got is honestly, to me, nothing more than impressive. I mean, getting 2 wins against Atletico, getting a draw against Juventus, like you said, obviously the man that everybody talks about is Jonathan David. The dude's been absolutely a machine for Lille since he's been there. I mean, you think he's been there for 10 years with the stats that he's putting up, but he's only been there for, I think, 5 seasons, something like that. And he's only 23, 22. But also, too, the keeper for Lille, Chevalier.
Oh, my gosh.
I hope I'm saying that right. Chevalier. Dude, guy is a monster. The guy's playing himself for a transfer somewhere because that dude, he has been so good. Obviously, we have to take into consideration that this UA team is not the best we've seen over the past 15 years. But this is a solid team. This is a team that has a pretty solid attack and can play pretty well at times. But I don't know. I don't know what to think of Juve because I feel like they're one of those teams that I would never bet on as a sports bettor. Because I don't know what I'm going to get from them. They've been quietly solid, but not amazing either. So like coming into this Lille game, I thought was going to be, it could go either way. I thought either team could win, but man, Lille riding high. I'm super pumped. It sucks that they gave up that pen because I thought they kind of played the better team. They were the better team during out this affair, but yeah, man, I'm curious to see what Lille goes forward. I think they, what did I say? With their schedule coming up forward, they have Bologna, which I feel confident against in Bologna, while Bologna has been not too great in this Champions League performance, but Sturm Graz, I'm curious to see how well they play against Liverpool. Obviously, that Liverpool game, they could either draw and they play out of their mind, and you got Chevrolet just absolutely being like prime fucking, I don't even know. They name a league goalkeeper.
Wait. The thing is, though, do you really think they can beat Liverpool, though, or can they tie?
No, not beat Liverpool, but I'm saying at least be competitive.
Yeah,
I think that's their goal going into it. I think you have. I think if you're Lille, you have to win it out. You have to beat Bologna. You have to beat Sturm Graz
to qualify or to get in the top.
I think their expectations. Okay. And if they want to get into the top 8, because the top 8 right now is really competitive. This whole league table is getting super, super competitive and super tight. And if they want to squeeze in there, I think you have to win out. I think you can afford to lose the Liverpool game, but I do think they have the quality to win out. And if potentially, is this at Anfield? Yeah, this is at Anfield. Man, that's going to be a tough ask to even get a draw. Yeah. I was going to say, I think you get if you're Leo and you get a draw coming out of Anfield, that's a plus. I would take that as a win. Plus. Especially, I mean, like we're just talking about how Liverpool is probably the best team in the world right now. But let's move on to the next one. This one's going to be a quick one. I just want to talk about it. Barcelona versus Zagreb. Oh. Man, Barcelona. All I got to say is Robert motherfucking Lewandowski.
Put some respect on that man's name.
19 goals in all competitions.
He's on fire.
Dude has been a man on a mission. Rafinha is probably playing in the best form of his life for Barcelona. This was a guy that, I mean, you know me. I thought I wanted Rafinha gone. There was all the talk of Nico Williams coming to Barcelona, pretty much replacing Rafinha because he hasn't been up to snuff, especially against elite opposition. But from what we saw against Real Madrid, obviously this is Zagreb, so you expect them to blow them out. But that's the thing. They did what they were supposed to do. And I think that's something that you have to take in consideration because every team that you've put in front of Barcelona that they're supposed to beat the shit out of, they do, including Real Madrid. So and Bayern Munich. This is a team that just feels unstoppable. Everybody is linking up so well. Hansi Flick's got this team rolling. I told you, man, it wasn't the talent that was on the team. It was Xavi. Xavi was holding this team back. Always thought he had poor tactics. He never got the most out of Lewandowski. Obviously, Lewandowski had a 30-goal season of one of those years under Xavi, but I always knew he could get more. And now Hansi's got all these guys playing out of their mind. They're playing well. Obviously, I think there's some question marks in the attack. Kubarsi, I don't know if you saw the photo of him. My God, the dude ass be outside the back of a bar. Like, my God, it looks like dude they hit him over the head with like a Coors Light. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Dude, that was rough. I hope it's not a nasty scar. I mean, dude's like only 17, 18.
He's 17. But, looks like he got a fight with Conor McGregor, man.
Yeah, basically. Shout out to Conor McGregor at the match in England, the Newcastle match.
Shout out to Conor. Shout out to Conor, man. Love to see it, dude. Love to see it.
Yeah. But no, man. I'm super high on this Barca team. Like I said, I think they're the only team that can compete with Liverpool in terms of who is the best team in the world right now. They are just firing on all cylinders. And this is, mind you, without their starting goalkeeper and Ter Stegen being out for the season. I just feel like everybody's getting healthy. They're playing well. This Barca team is scary, man. Scary.
Yeah, dude. No, I completely agree with what you said, Julian. I didn't think, dude. Listen, I think this team, they've really shown that not only are they one of the best teams in Europe, but they can compete with anybody, any place, any time of the week. You know, I remember previous to when we were talking about this matchup, we were looking at it, and obviously I was a little bit more. I had my bias cap on. I can obviously take that bias cap off whenever Pumita left this team, whenever he ditched Red Star Belgrade. But yeah, dude, I agree, man. I think it's just been a very, very tough. Red Star Belgrade have probably been the worst team, and that's saying something. There's Strumgrasses in this. They've been god awful, dude. They really have. So maybe I'm not too pissed off about Pumita Luis Rodriguez leaving to go on a loan out in Mexico. So, but yeah, dude, in regards to Barcelona, like you said, I think Robert Lewandowski, dude, you got to give your praise to Hansi Flick, man. I mean, this guy.
He turned it around with the same players that were already there. You're back. You cut out for a second.
I'll say it for a quick sec. Hansi Flick, not only is this team firing where they need to be, he's got them doing more than that. Inaki Peña, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the goalkeeper. Dude, why the hell did y'all sign Wojciech Szczesny? What was the whole point? Keep this guy in the freaking net. This man has been incredible. Listen, that Red Star Belgrade was a little bit, but you have to keep it quite honest. That Milson, that second goal that Red Star scored was, I mean, that was from the heavens, dude. That was something else. So, but no, dude, I mean, every single part of this team, like you even said, shout out 17-year-old Pau Kubarsi, man. Dog looked like he got in a freaking fight out in the back with a bunch of Serbians. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But, man, these boys are some dogs. These are some kids that want to play ball. I mean, I'm talking about Fermin Lopez, obviously Lamine Yamal, Pau Kubarsi, dude, Frankie de Jong back. I think Frankie's really big in the midfield. I think it's been really critical to see him back there.
See, so. I'm not the biggest Frankie guy. I thought he had a good game. I'm not the hugest Frankie guy because that's a guy he plays 1 week and then he's hurt the next, and then he's gone for 3 weeks, and then he plays and then he's gone. He's just so injury prone. It's insane. But also, too, a guy we haven't even talked about, Koundé, had the gentleman's assist, a gentleman hat trick, 3 assists. He was all on it. Absolutely out of his mind. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. We got Inter Milan versus Arsenal. This was an Inter squad that I don't know why. I don't know if they're prioritizing the Napoli game this weekend, but they didn't necessarily play their best lineup. Obviously, they had Thuram on the bench to start and not having him alongside Lautaro Martinez, where I think they're at their best. Obviously, Barella on the bench. They had DeMarco on the bench. I don't know why they kind of benched some of their best players, but I believe if they put up they're starting their A+ squad, they're starting their best team ever, I think they could have won this game a little easier. I would believe that they would be able to put up 2, because I tell you what, there's not a single team that is better in the transition than Inter Milan in all of Europe. They are the kings of it. They are so good. How fast they're able to run, especially when you have Thuram and Lautaro just running side by side, and then having DeMarco on the wings, on the wing back roll, just flinging it in there. Man, it's just I would have loved to see them go full strength on this. But nonetheless, Dumfries had a great game. I thought Inter was really good defensively. They played a defensive masterclass. Arsenal couldn't really get anything going. This is an Arsenal team. Yeah, they had about 19 shots on goal or something like that, but not one. Like maybe 2 or 3 looked truly dangerous. There was one curling ball, I believe, from Havertz that looked really good. But this Arsenal team felt like they couldn't get anything really like rolling creatively, especially in the final third until Odegaard came in. It just proves how much Odegaard is kind of like the heartbeat of this team to really get it going. And look, man, it's been the same issues with Arsenal where they just look dead offensively. I mean, Martinelli is not I don't really rate him that high. I don't think he's that great. Clearly, they're still running Kai Havertz as striker. They still don't have a true proper striker who can be lethal and be clinical. Saka has his moments where he can go on a really hot streak, but then sometimes he can kind of fizzle out right at the final third, and which is what we kind of saw this game. But I don't want to put all of it on Arsenal just playing bad offensively. I do think Inter just played a defensive masterclass, and I think they could have been a little bit better in the transition if they played a little bit of a stronger lineup the entire length of the game. Summers had an incredible game, man of the match. Dude had some insane saves. This Inter team, they're good, man. There's a reason why they got that second star on their chest last season. Yeah. This is a team. They were my sleeper pick last year because to make it to the final, even though it's kind of weird to say because the year before that they were in the final. Obviously, they had the ghost ball that shot up on Lautaro that went over the net. But I like this Inter squad, and I give respect to, and this is coming from a Milan fan who I like to see Inter lose. I gotta give credit where credit's due. They've been playing really well, and quite honestly, I'd rather see a Prem team lose over anybody else.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, man.
I agree with you, dude. I think honestly, Arsenal. Shout out Adam, man. Listen, I know he's probably hitting the bed after that game, dog. Dude, Arsenal's going to be fine. They're going to still progress. I think they'll be good. But no, I think it shows that this new format, you can't take anything for granted. And I think Arsenal really, they're probably licking their chops right now, dude. They're probably thinking, oh my gosh, we could have won. We could have done better, whatever it was. But no, dude, I agree. I think big win for Inter Milan, and they're going to keep moving forward.
All right, we're going to talk about the last game, and that is not the last game, but second to last game, Club Brugge versus Aston Villa. I just want to say Club Brugge, man, they put insane pressure on Villa in the first half of the match. They played so well. They put intense pressure. They looked good in transition. They really had Villa on the ropes there with a couple dangerous looks. Villa, man, they continue this bad run of form. It just they're kind of remind me of Arsenal in that sense where they just can't really get anything going in that final third. It's like they do everything else before that, but then trying to make that final touch, it's just not as good. And they keep on putting Ollie Watkins in there, and I just feel like Ollie Watkins has just been on this pretty poor run of form for them. But meanwhile, you have a guy on the bench who goes by the name of John Duran, who is not playing because every time he hops in the field after the second half and the 60th minute, he has a foot of magic. He puts one in the back of the net. And I think this guy deserves a chance to start and be that starting striker for Aston Villa. Agreed. Because we all know that Aston Villa probably has the best goalkeeper in the world right now in Emi Martinez. And he is saving them big time because I think things could look a lot worse for Aston Villa if he wasn't there. Obviously, there was the idiotic mistake to pick up the ball in the
what
box.
Is Tyrone Mings? What is he doing, dude? What is he doing?
I don't know. Minks it makes no sense. But then obviously they get the easy pen. But I do think at the end of the day, Club Brugge won this. They deserved a goal in that first half. They got a couple unlucky shots, but they deserved to actually get that goal. So even though it was a pen and whatever, to me, the way I chalk it up is like they played so well. I think they should have had one in the back of the net regardless. And either way, Villa couldn't get anything going. And I think there's got to be a certain point where the manager of Villa, you have to change things up. You have to change that attack. You have this guy who's, in my opinion, deserves to get the start. Ollie Watkins has proven that he is a inconsistent player who can't play, who will go on these really rough streaks and spells of just not looking good really at all. Like it's weird. It's like the weirdest moments. So you got to go with the young guy. You got to move forward, but we'll see what goes forward for Villa. They did look pretty hot to start off the Champions League, but I do think a lot of it gets hidden by the performances that Emi Martinez has done these past couple weeks.
Agreed, dude. Agreed. Listen, man, Dibu Martinez, like you said it, whatever people want to call him. If you're French, you think he's a clown. If you're Argentinian, you think he's your Lord and Savior. Listen, dude, this guy's incredible. People know it. People need to respect it. Put some respect on him. I think, honestly, like you said, Julian, I think you said it well, dude. Dibu, and especially that Bayern game in Matchday 2. I mean, dude, John Duran, I mean, what he's done. Listen, dude, Jamie Carragher even said it himself, te amo, John, te amo, in his strong British accent. Dude, I love John Duran as well. Yo amo a John Duran mas. Dude, Guy's incredible. But I love more Dibu Martinez, man. Like what you said, you have to give him his flowers. I think honestly, this game could have been worse. I mean, the guys, the Spanish striker, I'm trying to remember, Jugla, if I'm not incorrect, Skov Olsen, guys for Club Brugge, really, really putting in the work. And then Vaken, of course, who got the goal, scored the penalty. But dude, I think that's just the thing though with this team in Aston Villa. They're gonna hit stumps. I think this is what's gonna happen, dude. This is the Champions League. You know what I mean? This is the first time for Aston Villa, the first time they've ever been in Champions League before. So this is not a walk in the park. This is the most competitive tournament in the world. So for any club football, the most exciting, the most entertaining, the most competitive, the most anything you can think of is going to be happening. So I think it's natural for them. Obviously, it wasn't their best game. I think Dibu Martinez still showed up big for them. Obviously, Leon Bailey kind of, he's had a quiet season. He's had a real quiet season for in the league.
Dude's just been ghost.
He's been ghost, dude, for league and also for in Champions League. Just hasn't had the best. Jean Duran, I agree, dude. Listen, I understand when it's the 67th minute or the 62nd minute or the 63rd minute, this guy turns into a freaking demon, bro. He's insane. You can't stop him on the field. He's literally like a Mario Kart Luigi bull. I don't know what this man is. He can predict the future, and he already knows what he's doing. But I think you got to start the guy, man. Start the guy.
And to be fair, he hasn't been. He didn't have a great game last week. I think in general, it just seems like UI Emery just didn't have a great game plan or expect to kind of dog walk Club Brugge. So a lot of it goes into the game plan that they put together. But then you also look at Club Brugge, like they showed up, man. They showed up. And even though they had a week run to start off the Champions League, a lot of those games they played in were super close and got pretty unlucky with the last game that they played against, which, oh my gosh, who was it against? And I'm drawing a blank. It was Inter. Yeah, that Inter game, they didn't look that bad. I thought Inter just had a couple moments of magic there at the end, and they kind of got unlucky. But this is a Bruges team that I think you really can't sleep on. They play really well. They're really fast, and man, this is the third game I've seen from them just by happenstance, and they just have been so good in transition. They're a very underrated, sneaky team who can obviously pull out of upset like we saw against Aston Villa. Yeah. But let's talk about the last one, and we'll end it off here. We had Bayern Munich versus Benfica. And I'm going to tell you right now, this game was an absolute snooze fest. Benfica just parked the bus the entire time. They did a great job. I mean, they only held Bayern Munich to one goal, and it came right at the very end by Musiala off the header from Kane. But they actually did a good job being defensively strong. I do think, though, Benfica should have went after it more. I believe they're a talented enough team to kind of open it up and go after it. I know you're afraid of, at the end of the day, this is Bayern Munich with a ton of talent on there. I mean, you have one of the best strikers in the world in Harry Kane. But this is a Benfica team that, dude, you guys have looked pretty solid in league play and then also in Champions League. I mean, you dropped 4-0 against Atletico. Just open it up, man. Why? I get that it's Bayern, but this is a Bayern team that's been a little susceptible in the back recently. I mean, we saw it against Barca. Obviously, Barca's of a different echelon than Benfica is, but it looks like they went in there with a game plan of all right, let's just get the 0-0 draw, get out of here, get the point and leave. But you got to go after it a little bit. I do think Benfica, I understand if you're like Dinamo Zagreb or Red Star Belgrade or Sturm Graz or whatever, and you're trying to just hold on for dear life, but you're Benfica, man. You can go after it a little bit, man. You've shown that you have the goal scoring capability and the speed to kind of go after it, but they didn't. I will say, though, Bayern at the end of the game, they were able to break it down a little bit, bring in Sane and Musiala finally able to kind of break down that mid block that they set up. They should have maybe scored a little bit more. They missed a couple of chances that they had, but Bayern was the better team at the end of the day. They did finally get one in, even though Benfica played pretty well defensively. This is a Bayern team I'm still a little skeptical on. We'll see what they're going to do going forward. But yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, I agree with you, man. Listen, like you said, honestly, Julian, I think, dude, I'm glad you said it was a snooze fest because I didn't even watch it. So, that kind of takes that out. But
it's hard to watch all of them, to be honest with you. So I don't blame you.
It is. But no, dude, catching up on it, like you said, I saw a little bit of the highlights, a little bit of it. Jamal Musiala doing Jamal Musiala things. Harry Kane, obviously this team, Michael Olise, well performed, well-rounded. But yeah, I think like you said, the big thing for Benfica is they're going to need to learn how to bounce back from this, how to kind of hold their heads up high. I agree, dude. Parking the bus, I think if any,
we lost you,
all due respect with Benfica, they can go out for it. So, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. And that is, I know we didn't cover every single game. There's a lot of games to cover. We just wanted to highlight some of the big ones, the big matchups that we don't call us big matchup merchants. There were some great games out there. I mean, you had the Celtic Leipzig game that was pretty dope to watch. You had the Girona Feyenoord game that was, no, not Feyenoord, not, oh my God, who the Feyenoord beat? Salzburg Feyenoord game. That's
yeah, Salzburg beat them.
Yeah, there was a couple good games out there, but we just want to cover obviously the big ones and go over that. Yeah. Atalanta, gotta say, man, Lookman, one of the most underrated players in the league. I mean, the world.
He's making a move. He's making a big move.
He's making a move. He's been a stud for Atalanta. Like, yeah, I like that guy from what I've seen. I've been watching a lot of Serie A lately, and that guy definitely underrated player. If he was playing on any other team, people would be talking about him everywhere and all. If he was, oh my God, could you imagine the hype train if he was in like the Prem, for example? Like, it'd be insane.
Best player in the world, dude. Ballon d'Or right there. But
yeah, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. We greatly appreciate it. We got more content coming on the way, some CONCACAF, other things going on around world football and club and MLS and so on and so forth. And like, if you guys haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to this channel. And like you heard from the beginning when I had the previous overlay on, we do have the other channel covering pretty much all things American football and the NFL. So please, if you guys are interested in that, go subscribe to that channel. Go check it out with me and my boy Gabe. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.